Department of Homeland Security, showing links between data and all the links of these links to individual people. In 2004, DHS at their big conference in Virginia that they held that year, at that time, their requirement was storage for 1 quadrillion links. Then. Now, beyond belief. Now look, I'm an investigator. I'm not going to stand up here and say, ooh, this is all bad. Because sometimes it's good. When the government actually uses the right information in the right way and does its job, it saves lives. It could have saved 3,000 lives right here in New York. Let me interpret this for you. Of the 9/11 hijackers, 2 were known as Al-Qaeda terrorists who were coming into this country to do a terrorist act. Al-Hizmi and Al-Midhar. They were known. They were known to the CIA. They were known to the FBI. Unfortunately, the CIA didn't tell the FBI they were already in America. That's another story. 14 of the other terrorists could have been linked to them through the most basic database checks that even a private investigator could have done. Mohammed Atta, the ringleader, shared an address. 5 other terrorists shared a telephone number with Atta. Another terrorist shared a frequent flyer number, and another terrorist not on the watch list shared an address. Just this basic database matching, if it had been done in a timely way, and it had been done efficiently, the World Trade Center would conceivably still be standing. And this would be a different world. So this is not always a bad thing. It's a bad thing when it's used on innocent people. Now, I'm going to flip through a lot of this, I'm sorry. We're going to talk 5 minutes about a real world case, and then we're going to go into Q&A. When you're an investigator and you're building a profile on somebody, when I teach these classes, I tell people it's like pulling a piece of string. As soon as you have something to pull onto, something to hold onto, and start pulling, you're going to get more information and more and more. Now here's a very, very typical use. You have a telephone number. Everybody knows the telephone number is going to give you a name and an address. From there you get a date of birth and a social security number. By the way, anybody who doesn't believe me, I'll demonstrate it to you later. Past addresses, family members, places of employment, businesses, corporations, real property, public records, marriage, divorce, voter registration, criminal records, civil court, every type of filing, UCCs, taxes, permits, licenses, carry permits for guns, your driver's license, your motor vehicles, accidents you've been in, credit reports, phone bills, credit card bills, 800 number calls, purchasing histories, donations. I don't have a screen big enough. It would go up, down the ceiling, down the other wall in the back. As long as you've got a good starting point, you can build on it. This is basic database investigation. It's done 1 billion times a day by law enforcement and private investigators. So, look familiar? Two years ago, before the Hope Talk that was rudely preempted, I went on Off the Hook, the 2600 radio show, which you should all listen to, and I asked for a volunteer, and the next morning I got an email. Hi, my name's Rick Dakin. I want to volunteer. I'm a writer, and then he gives his very brief contact information on the bottom. So the first thing I did was I ran the phone number. Now, obviously, out of respect for Rick, a lot of the information is going to be truncated. Just by running the phone number, we were able to get his name, his address, his social security number, his date of birth, where he works, and that he's a real person. It seemed legit, so I gave him a call. And I said, Rick, we had a problem in 2004. I did this with a guy who I met the day before as a courtesy. He said, look, I'd just like to know what you got on me so I don't have a heart attack in the audience. And I met with him and I showed him everything I'd gathered. And that night I got a call at my office from his attorney who said, I know he gave you permission, but if you do the presentation, I'm going to sue you. I'm going to spend the rest of my life filing lawsuits against you. So I couldn't do it in 2004. In 2006, I had a waiver ready. And I sent it down to Rick, and Rick signed it. And I want to read you one key paragraph. Pelorium, which is my agency, may disseminate any information about me which it obtains and or compiles to any person in any venue as it sees fit, even if the dissemination of that information could cause me harm, emotional distress, pain, injury, humiliation, or ridicule, or other personal or financial damage, and even if the information disseminated is partially or completely false. Okay, you know what? He signed it and had it notarized. And he's right here.